This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Well, let's get back to it.
The Met Office has issued a rare warning. Seems to be very loud. Why is that? Somebody's been in here fiddling with the equipment. The Met Office has issued a rare I knew I was going to screw this up. Oh well, it's probably France's fault. Yeah, thanks a lot, Monsieur Macron. See what you've done? The Met Office has issued a rare red weather... Well, you try it. In fact, don't. I'm a trained professional. Don't you try this at home. Have you heard? The Met Office has issued a rare red weather warning. A rare red, oh, forget it.
Warning.
Red alerts, meaning there is a warner, for crying out loud. Shall I start again?
No.
Have you heard? The Met Office has issued a rare red weather warning. I can't believe I wrote that down. Red alerts warning of danger to life have been issued across the northeast of England and Scotland for the first time in 3 years. And you know what that means?
Emergency, everybody to get from street. Emergency, everybody to get from street.
The red warning, which covers areas including but not limited to Newcastle upon Tyne, Edinburgh and Aberdeen, wherever that is, will be in place until 2 o'clock in the morning. The Met Office warned commuters of flying debris expected to cause chaos on roads, bridges and railway lines. Forecasters also warn of damage to buildings and homes with roofs blown off, power lines brought down, delays and cancellations to buses, trains, ferry services and flights. Power cuts will also affect other services such as mobile phone coverage. Hey kids, you won't be able to send pictures of your face to the internet. Already they're freaking out. Mobile phone coverage might go. Large waves and beach material will be thrown onto coastal roads, seafronts and homes. But how's it going to go apart from that?
Oh, fabulous.
The warning, which is the maximum the Met Office issues, means the impact is likely to be high and is very likely. Very likely and high. Temperatures in the UK at this time of year usually average a daily of 10 C and a low of 4 C. But they are set to plummet with lows of up to minus 4 C in Scotland land.
Oh, no.
Stephen Dixon of the Met Office said, there's a yellow warning for snow which extends from Surrey up as far as Nottingham. Forecasters warn outbreaks of rain may turn to snow at times across southern and central England during Saturday morning. Yeah, so much for, was it Zaphod who said that we're banking on a warm winter? You know, what with the price of fuel gone through the roof. He looked at the numbers. Yeah, Zaphod looked at the numbers.
86%, 5 million, and of course, over 50%. And what I'm saying is...
Yeah, okay. Just fills the air with noise. A yellow warning for snow extends from Surrey up to as far as Nottingham. Forecasters warn outbreaks of rain may turn to snow at any time across southern and central England during Saturday morning. Experts suggest that if you are planning on driving, you should turn the stereo up so high it makes your eyes jiggle. You should pick up speed and tailgate the car in front because you are special and nothing bad will ever happen to you. Of course, if you are in a hatchback, you will already be doing this.
Thank you.
The Met Office has said temperatures are going to plummet to below average over the weekend. Plummets to below average. That's not very specific for scientists. Will, out of the Met Office, said the UK will see temperatures drop to below average in the coming days as cold air is drawn in from the north. This is coupled with the strong winds associated with Storm Arwen, which means it will feel especially cold in the wind. Blimey, it's like winter outside.
Correct.
Areas in the north are going to see temperatures below freezing overnight. Daytime maximum temperatures only getting... Have you heard? Daytime You know, this show's going to be great when it starts. What time's it on? Areas in the north will see temperatures below freezing overnight with daytime maximum temperatures only getting into the low single figures. Large waves could see material thrown onto coastal roads, seafronts and buildings. Watch out for the spume. Meanwhile, Ladbrokes is predicting next month is going to be the coldest December ever, as in ever, 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 with 2-to-1 bets. Place your bets. Bet nah, bet nah, bet nah. 2-to-1 bets. What does that mean? Does it mean you lose? I think it means you lose. Tonight, windy is going to be very, very, very windy. Saturday, winds slowly easing, rain, snow, sunny spells, wintry showers. Sunday to Tuesday, cold, dry, overnight frost, milder from the west by Tuesday. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast up until Christmas Eve?
No.
OK, this is the next 2 weeks. At first, windy with sunshine and showers, possibly heavy and wintry. It's not normally wintry this early, is it? Normally you have to wait till like January or February before it gets really, really, really bad, but it's really, really bad already. Temperatures are going to be changing between mild and cold, with the risk of widespread frost in cold periods. Then, continually unsettled with spells of wet and windy weather, the wettest in the west, interspersed with conditions that don't begin with W. Wet and windy weather, wettest in the west. Temperatures likely milder of late. That's the next couple of weeks. And then, the 2 weeks till Christmas Eve. Jesus' birthday! Unsettled with milder and wetter than average conditions, turning more settled in southern regions for a time, mild for much of this period. Mild for much of this period? We'll take it. Peppa Pig emails, greetings Nick, someone who has been impersonating me at the CBI conference. Any idea who it might be? Not a clue over here. Some scrofulous oik, I expect. Jerry emails, please could somebody send Boris a stapler to save Peppa Pig from falling apart any longer? What do you know about Peppa Pig, Bodge?
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has Peppa Pig.
Very good. Very good. It's a good boy. 0345 6060 973. Carol texts, Boris lost his place in a pile of paper and turned to Peppa Pig rather than Kermit the Frog this time. Well, I suppose small mercies. Of course, Frog has other implications. If it wasn't Macron's fault, it's probably Kermit's fault. Thanks a lot, Kermit. See what you've done? You green idiot. Who's calling Chelsea? Hello, Mark.
Oh, my dear man, hello. I didn't know I'd be on so fast. Now, I think we can all agree that your show and life would be less interesting if we all agreed and phoned up to agree. So
I disagree.
Exactly. Anyway, well done. Now, our strategic interests have been diversifying from our great partner in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, France. I'm not going back to try to analyse what their raison d'etre was.
Our strategic interests have been...
Yes, well, firstly, fish, migrants human beings escaping their cruelty, where their gendarmes remove blankets in this weather from shanty towns.
Yeah, I think the cruelty is mostly from our side, but go on.
Willing to escape, risking death from the French. And, I mean, we've never had
No, not risking death from the French. Risking death to try and get over here because we've shut down all the legal means of doing it.
And we've never had an explanation as to why Paris was taken without a shot being fired. We already have what are...
Wait, what?
Well, these people have fought.
Wait a minute. Is it a Second World War reference that you just gave me?
Look, it's in living memory.
Oh, my God. We're still fighting the Second World War? Are you kidding me? That was your second line of attack? First, the French are being evil, and then they gave up in World War II. Oh, my God, it's worse than I thought. Tom tweets, Storm Arwen is blowing a hoolie out there tonight, but fortunately, just like Donny, we know a lot about wind. Well, and I hesitate to actually say the word hoolie out loud, not really knowing what it means. But it is factually accurate, as is the thing about Donny and wind.
I know a lot about wind. I know a lot about wind.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, that was exactly what that last bloke sounded like. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And then went straight to the dam busters. Painful. Shane texts, I'm looking at the current weather forecast, amber and red warnings for wind. What's worrying me is the yellow snow warnings.
Warning, warning.
Don't eat the yellow snow. Don't even get it on your shoes. Paul texts, I knew you were the only person in Britain to benefit from Boris Johnson's CBI speech. Well, it does give me a lot of material, eh, Bodge? Yeah, exactly. The wheels on the car go round and round. Sing! We get no supper. Hereford, hello, Andrea.
Oh, my goodness. Hello, you are just the funniest man in the world, and if it was on voice and humour, you would win every woman's heart.
Well, thanks, Andrea.
Anyway.
Appreciate it.
Oh, that's okay.
You.
No, I mean that. Anyway, moving on, I just wanted to say that on the 9th of December,
Yeah.
I am going on a plane to Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. Never been.
Only if you can pronounce it properly, Andrea.
Oh, did I not?
What's it
Go
called?
on, you say it.
I've got no idea. I'm not going there. Where are you going?
Well, I think it's Puerto. Is that a bit Spanish? And Vallarta.
That's good enough for Mexico.
Thank you. Exactly. And I believe it's like 28, 31, 30.
Okay, that's very nice, Andrea, but we don't wish to know that.
Why?
Because it's blooming freezing here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be sitting here in the freezing cold and the pouring rain. I got snow up to my jingle bells.
Eyeballs. But anyway, no, I wanted you to know that I work hard and I'm just disappearing for 3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Disappearing? Well, like a magic trick. Is it anywhere near sunny Cancun?
Oh, peaceful, nice bit.
Yeah.
I've never been, but I hear it's nice.
Right, so you're not going to be in the middle of any drug warfares, and you won't have to be stepping over headless bodies to get to the breakfast buffet.
I'm meeting my 22-year-old son there, who usually turns around and goes, I hate you, you're useless. So I have a feeling that on the first night I'll be left there alone,
right,
stumbling around Mexico, and he'll just walk off and I'll be dead. And
well, he sounds like a terrible person, and I blame the parents.
It's all my fault, Nick.
Right, okay.
I take it.
All right, well, send us a postcard. Promise me you'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers, Andrea. I don't know what kind of a phone you're using there. It sounds like a satellite phone or a burner, something like that. Anyway, heading to Mexico to meet up with a drug cartel all sounds very, very suspicious to me.
Want to score some pot?
0345 6060 973. She just wanted to call in and make us feel bad. Have you heard the weather? Don't make me do that again. Archie texts, at COP26, a journalist noted that a croissant on the menu had a higher carbon footprint rating than a bacon butty. That's the French for you, destroying our planet single-handedly. How does a croissant have a higher carbon footprint than something that was sliced off an animal? Poor cow. Yeah, don't you know anything? Bacon's not from a cow, it's from like a goat or something. Why don't you do your research? I don't believe that. How can a croissant have a higher carbon footprint than a bacon butty, which was sliced from an actual animal? In fact, it was... what kind of an animal was it sliced from?
Peppa Pig world. Peppa Pig.
Yeah, exactly. It's a massacre over there. You better bring Wellington boots. You'll be sloshing through blood and guts over at Peppa Pig World. Ain't that right, Bodge?
Peppa Pig world. Peppa Pig world is...
yes?
It has...
yes? Yes?
Peppa Pig?
Yes! Correctamundo! You win a job. How about you'd like to run the country? Sure, why not? We're just giving them away. Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Yeah. Johnson destruction bombs you and Trump, all sort of tied together, really. Right. Tuesday, the government announced legislation that has been going through Parliament for months about if you killed an emergency worker and it was only manslaughter, you were still going to get life.
Right.
Which was the distraction bomb for Monday's CBI disaster that Johnson suffered with the 21-second silence and the please forgive me 3 times.
Yeah, forgive me.
No.
No, an extra 2 no's in there for, for emphasis.
And the other bit that struck me was that you keep saying, if they get in trouble, what do? They think, what would Donald Trump do?
Yes.
So we have a bit of Boris trouble over the channel.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do? He does what Donald Trump would do. He issues a tweet.
He has the best words.
I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
As does Bodge, yeah.
But what he hasn't figured out is that Donald Trump issues tweets to the cult, not to the leader of the French nation. He doesn't understand that simply issuing a tweet, because Donny does it and seems to do well, doesn't work when you issue it to the wrong person.
Well, you may not have quite grasped what's going on there, Mike. I know that you're scrutinising it through a microscope, but perhaps a telescope would be better. You need to be at a distance, because I suspect that this government has absolutely no interest of agreeing with France about anything. Keeping us on a permanent war footing is a perfect excuse for anything that goes wrong in this country. It's all France's fault for being mean to us.
Absolutely, and what people have to start realising is that since they got elected in 19, this shower that are in charge of us now have done nothing except try to win the next election. They haven't done what's right for the country. They've done what suits Boris.
But that's the right wing all over. The right wing all over do not care about anything except acquiring and then hanging on to power. The left wing, meanwhile, are concerned about purity tests and, as I've said many times, form a circular firing squad and take each other out.
But one is much nicer to the population than the other is. And,
well, yeah, but then why does the brunt of the population not even the brunt? Why does the Tories keep on getting in over and over again? Why, by the way, it's so curious. Why do more poor people than well-off people vote Conservative? The percentage of people who are poor, C2DEs, and who are old far outweighs those who are young and well-off who vote Conservative. Isn't that curious? And the poor and the old are doing worse and have always done worse under a Conservative government, and yet they keep voting for them over and over.
Well, I could be controversial and say that by definition half of the population are of subnormal intelligence.
Well, that is actually statistically accurate, yeah. Subnormal actually has some connotations to it, but sub-average. Should we say sub-average? And we might be able to get away with it, Mike. All right, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Of sub-average intelligence. What do you think about that, Bodge? No idea. He's going to think about it. He'll let us know as soon as anything occurs to him. Anything occurred to you lately? You're still playing. Josh texts, that rare red weather warning sounds like contact tasting. Contact
tracing. Forgive me. Contact tracing.
Oh, give it up, Bodge. You're never going to get it. Let's have a call in Leicester. Adam.
Hello.
Adam.
Yes, Adam, good afternoon. Good evening, sorry.
Okay. Let's just press on. Go on.
Yes, we are pressing on. I think the migrant dying in the high seas has everything to do with the international community, of which Britain and French are the main or some of the main contributors of these tragic incidences we are seeing today.
Yeah, I think it's us. It's mostly us.
It did not start today. and it is not going to end tomorrow.
No, it's probably going to get much worse tomorrow.
It's getting worse.
Not literally tomorrow, but in the future.
Yes, my generation has seen enough. My children's generation will also see worse than that. They have corrupted majority of these countries, and they have destabilized the country to extent that you live in a country like Ghana, which has got everything you would think of. Britain doesn't have it. We've got the intellectual capacity. We've got the natural resources. We've got everything. But it is not in the hands of the locals, which I mean the citizens of those countries.
Right. We charge in, we in the West, specifically us, historically, we charge in, we take all their stuff, shoot anybody that doesn't like it, and tell them they're doing everything wrong. And then we disappear in a cloud of smoke and are aghast that they don't manage to put their country back together again that day.
The trouble is, I'm not seeing the politicians or the concerned people making an intelligent argument enough. Mohammed Gaddafi, before he was taken out, which was propagated by William Hague and William Hague.
Okay. This is getting very, very serious now, and very specific, Adam. I think you may have called the wrong show, but in all, I think we are in agreement that it's the West's problem. And it is going to get worse. I mean, if climate change is actually happening and the future is as described, then it's not going to be 80 million people who are displaced. It's going to be 180 million or 280 million or maybe 1 billion people. Because if the rains stop or if there's too much rain and the crops fail and it gets too hot to live somewhere or too cold to live somewhere, then they're going to have to go to somewhere that's more clement. And guess where that is? Right here. So if you don't like what's happening now, a tiny dribble of people, if we're describing that as a tsunami of people coming over here, and it's a catastrophe, and we're being swamped, and all of that, other exciting language that they use in the tabloids, if that's what you think is happening now, just wait. Just wait. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, you probably shouldn't be left alone with with Boris Johnson's communications. Is he personally responsible for that? I suspect that he probably is. Yeah, and it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a faux pas. He knew exactly what he was doing. Having France be our permanent enemy is suiting the regime. 0345 6060 973. It's 10:30 on LBC. The news headlines with Zora Sullivan.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. RJ text, can I get in early for the A to Z and put forward Zaphod? Bit too early, says RJ. Yes, I agree with you. It's a little bit too early. Benny tweets, if you don't use the Boris forgive me soundbite, you obviously didn't get the message. It was just too much material. Too much material to stick on the one soundboard. Up to my eyeballs with it, I am. Hayes. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Nick. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for making your call.
Aye?
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, sorry, mate. Just a different story, right? We're all trying to save the world, yeah? They keep advertising these bars. Yeah, they keep advertising these bars of shampoo on the television.
Do they?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Use plastic bottles.
Oh, yeah.
Right, now, so today, when I went shopping, I thought, well, I'll get myself one.
Right.
I won't buy a pound bar of shampoo. £8 for a bar of shampoo.
What?
Are people really going to pay that?
£8?
£8, mate.
But how long does it last?
Well, to be fair, I haven't used it yet, but it's half the size of a normal bar of carbolic soap.
So you bought it?
Yeah, I bought it, because I thought I'd save the world. I don't know what I'm saving the world for, but why is that £8? Where's that going? Well, I can normally buy a bit of shampoo, but your normal mother is going to go and buy the pound bottle of shampoo, isn't she? She's not going to pay £8.
No, probably not. No. So why did you pay £8?
No, because I just wanted to see what it's about.
Right,
I might as well just wash me head with a bit of normal bar of soap.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd just try it.
How does it smell?
Well, it smells like coconut.
Coconut. What does it taste like?
I haven't had it.
You haven't had it? It's okay. All right.
Well, other than that, but it's half the size of a normal bar of soap.
Well, I'm outraged on your behalf. Well, the planet will be probably ruined anyway, but at least we'll all have fantastic hair. £8. Thanks for the bad news, Nick. There you are. There's a bloke who watches adverts on the telly. It's just him. I just don't see adverts. Who watches adverts on TV? I mean, for a start, you'd have to be watching it live. Does anybody watch television live anymore?
No.
Of course not. Unless you're over about, 90 years old? The only people who watch television live are over 90 years old. And they haven't figured out how to press record and play on their Betamax. Benny tweets, if I don't know, I've read that. Evan says, "Is everything okay, Mr. Abbott?" I'd be surprised if that guy hasn't had the journalist who asked Bodge if everything was all right. I'd be very surprised if his name does not appear on the very toppermost list of the of a certain internal government document. I don't stay for any long period of time in just one place. That's my recommendation. Duck and cover. Always change your route on the way home. Barry tweets, "I think it might be worth going for a run around Leicester Square and starting all over again. If you see Chris Moores, just walk on by." What does that mean? I think it might be worth going for a run around Leicester Square and starting all over again. If you see Chris Moores, just walk on by. I've got no idea what that means. Oh, you mean the effervescent start to this show where I was tripping over my own face? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you're talking about Chris Moores for, though. I did see Chris Moores at the corner of my eye. Well, I put that on the podcast that I do with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was explaining that I spied Chris Moores, looking very unlike Chris Moores, out of the corner of my eye. But you'll have to listen to the podcast to avail yourself of that information. And the podcast, might as well tell you while I'm here. It's called "What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol?", in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while not laughing too much and failing on both counts. Ain't that right, Carol?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want us to have a bash at your issue, then you're going to have to send it to us. We're not mind readers. The address is nickandcarol@global.com. That's NICKANDCAROL @global.com. And prepare for a certain amount of satisfaction. And you should ask for that podcast by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? I think you'll find it a right laugh. Stella texts, "I got an early Christmas card yesterday. When I opened it, a load of rice fell out. It was from my Uncle Ben." Oh. Wow, that's really bad, Stella. Stella! Julie texts, "News from Peppa Pig World. We have a new variant. Wet weather from the west. Can't buy alcohol and Christmas could be cancelled." Well, that's just like a summation of everything that's happened on this show so far. You know that nice lady that I was talking to some while ago about she was going to sunny Cancun or thereabouts? She was going to Mexico. She was going to have to run in a crouched position from the airport to her hotel, dodging bullets all the way. You know, Smug announced that MPs are going to get another day of holiday. Jacob Rees-Mogg announced that MPs will get an extra day off over the forthcoming Christmas holidays. You know, for good behaviour. The House of Commons has been expected to break for the festive period on December the 16th. Who gets to stop work on December the 16th? They will be returning on January the 4th, but Smug revealed that MPs will now not have to return to work in Westminster till January the 5th. Damn it! But, fact fans, January the 5th is a Wednesday. And as they don't actually do anything on Friday, and it's half day on Thursdays, that means they'll think, well, why on earth would I come back from the Bahamas or the Seychelles early when I can easily stay through to the end of the week and start bright and early next Monday? Well, maybe Tuesday morning first thing. Okay, Tuesday afternoon, let's not get carried away. Gotta have some fun, eh, what? Smoke said the House will rise for the February recess on Thursday, February the 10th, and return on Monday, February the 21st. So after the 3 weeks Christmas break they get, they're back barely a month, and then it's off for another 2 weeks. And then they're back, and then it's barely a month before the House will rise for the Easter recess on Thursday, March the 31st, and return on Tuesday, April the 19th. So that's almost 3 weeks off for Easter. And then a week later, they get back, they get another week off. He said the House will rise for the May Day bank holiday on Thursday, April the 28th, and return on Tuesday, May the 3rd. Followed by 3 weeks back at work, and then he said the House will rise for the Whitsun recess on Thursday, May the 26th, and return on June the 6th. So that's another 2 weeks holiday. I mean, they're barely back for a month at any point in the year before they take off for another 2 or 3 weeks. Smoke said, finally, the House will rise for the summer recess on Thursday, July the 21st, and then it's about 7 weeks summer holiday before the part-timers parade starts all over again. It's all work, 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 isn't it?
No.
18 weeks holiday, I counted.
What?
18 weeks holiday. You believe that? Who gets 18 weeks holiday? And it's 80-odd grand a year, plus as many expenses as you can stuff into a numbered account. It's about £250,000 a year that they get in expenses, which they, the largest chunk of which is for staff, which can be the person that they're married to, or are, hanging out with, or the one that they want to hang out with. Unbelievable. I mean, mind you, if this is what we get when they're part-time, imagine the mess that they could have caused if they were full-time employees. Julia says, no, read that. Chris says, I wonder if Boris was visiting Peppa Pig World to forget what a pig's ear is made of running the country. I mean, if I were him, I suppose it fits his brand image, but he did look like a complete plank sitting in those kiddie rides. I mean, really. This is now embarrassing. John emails, would you get Greta on the phone? I thought the North Pole was warming, so how come the North Wind is so bloomin' freezing? It's all relative, John. Relative, isn't it? Unless it isn't, unless, because it's cold outside, there's no such thing as global warming. In which case I stand corrected. Well spotted there, John. Problem solved. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Don't forget to remind me to do the cat psycho thing. How to tell if your cat is a psycho. Now, you will remind me to not forget. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Gary texts, the French police watching the migrants getting into the boats were on their 3-hour lunch break. Sort out the lunch breaks and all will be well. Well, I think what might be well is if we took on our responsibilities and didn't to pretend that we don't that we aren't a part of the world. Instead of this like performative cruelty thing that just plays well with their fans. Push them back out to sea. You know, those people. Oliver says, do you know anybody... what's wrong with me today? This is the first time I've spoken today. I should have started slowly. You know, like a car, breaking it in. Can anybody do a good car noise? Yeah, close. I should, start slowly and loosen my lips. Like that. Do exercises. Gordon says, how much like a dodgy sci-fi horror movie does the Omicron variant sound, Nick? Yeah, it does. I thought it was going to be the new variant, as in NU, because wasn't that the next letter on the Greek alphabet that was coming up? We seem to have got to that part of the alphabet really, really quickly. It was going to be the new variant, NU. But I bet somebody thought, oh, you know what? In the future, we're going to be talking about a new variant, and people aren't going to be able to figure out whether we're talking about the old new variant or the new variant. So they thought they'd better think it out again. And this is painful. Just when you thought we were out, we got pulled back in again, like the mafia.
Absolutely.
Sajid Javid warned today that the pandemic is far from over.
Oh, no.
This was after Number 10's experts admitted the new super mutant vaccine-evading Botswana COVID variant could already be in the UK and threaten another Christmas lockdown. Well, at least Bodge did his best to keep it out. Of course not. Of course not. At least the government did all it could to keep us safe from this new variant, yes?
No.
At least they did something positive.
Negative.
It's almost beyond belief, but they did the same thing they did to protect us from all the other variants right from the start of this thing. Absolutely nothing until it was too late. Coming into this country full up to your eyeballs with disease is as easy as a portly dope in a beanie hat getting into Peppa Pig World.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World is
Yes,
it has
yes.
Peppa Pig.
Correct. The Health Secretary, Saj Manjav, Super Saj, said the new B11529 strain has too many numbers, and wondered what Zaphod would say about that, he being an expert.
If you do the numbers, so just really a couple of things. One, 500 and about 100 million, and of course an additional 5.4 billion pounds. Now, you've got to remember, 5 million already, and a number of almost 10,000, including
like my car on a cold day. So the Health Secretary said the new B11529 strain is too many numbers to keep in your mind at the one time. So they were going to call the new variant, as in NU. They were going to. The new variant, Gibbon.
What?
Yeah. So as not to be confusing, they were going to call the new variant the new variant the new variant. Not new and new. It was going to be the new variant.
Oh, fabulous.
So if they'd done that, in future we would have talked about some new variant. We were going to have to make it understood that we would be talking about the new variant, not the old new variant. That clear?
No.
It's about as clear as anything else this year. Either way, the new variant, not the new variant, the new Omicron... Oh, never mind. It poses a substantial risk to public health. And it has been described as ultra-transmissible and vaccine dodging. And its abilities in that regard are of huge international concern. As in, Professor Adam, a member of the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation, JUCV, earlier raised the prospect of lockdown curbs being reintroduced, warning that people must be braced for a change in restrictions if the variant spreads to the UK. Oh, please. It's not going to get here. Goodness me, no, not with our highly efficient track and taste system.
Contact tracing.
Not getting in here. No, it's not. In other news, Dr. Susan, Chief Medical Advisor of the UK's Health and Security Agency, warned that it was possible the strain had already entered Britain.
Oh, no.
Already here is possible. She said people are arriving every day to the UK from Belgium, South Africa, Botswana, Hong Kong and Israel, where the variant has been officially detected. 10,000 people have come here from South Africa alone in the last 2 weeks since the strain was detected. 10,000. We knew about it and we did nothing to stop it getting here. I mean, honestly, at this point, even a Bodger fan might conclude that it's not making the same mistake again and again. It looks more like a plan to let in every variant as soon as it's discovered. We might as well be running a variant express. Maybe that's what they mean by global Britain will import every infectious disease from wherever it's made all over the globe. Asked if it was possible that the variant was already in the UK, Dr. Susan, Chief Medical Advisor of the UK's Health and Security Agency, said, well, it's always possible. We have no cases identified yet, nothing in our genome sequencing. So overall, I think the situation is reassuring in country. But of course, people are arriving every day. That's right. So we better do something about that. And we have. Almost nothing at all. Health Secretary Sajman Jav announced that flights from South Africa, as well as Namibia, Lesotho, Botswana, Eswatini, if there is indeed such a place, and Zimbabwe, will be suspended from midday today. They've been placed on a red list.
Warning, warning.
But like all new rules, they're not up to much if they aren't enforced. And we learned that passengers arriving in the UK on one of the last flights from South Africa revealed that they were not offered tests. They were left to mix with hundreds of other passengers, despite being despite coming from a country that was the hotbed of the new super mutant, jab-dodging Botswana COVID variant. Get Marvel Comics on the phone. I've got a great idea for a supervillain's name. Even today, apparently, passengers arriving from Johannesburg, where the variant was first identified, were subjected to no additional precautions, according to one of the people actually on the flight. 1 in 3 flights arriving at Heathrow, one of the 3 flights arriving at Heathrow before the ban comes into force. What is it with saying, oh, well, yeah, we're going to ban flights and people coming from an area of great transmissibility? But we'll do it later. Not now. At some point in the future. Don't worry. Relax. Everything's fine. The UK's laxity contrasted with the approach in the Netherlands.
Want to score some pot?
This is according to a video which showed passengers arriving in Amsterdam before being told that they would not be allowed to leave the plane and would be tested before being allowed to go home. They didn't even let them in the country. Meanwhile, over here, someone on one of the last flights from South Africa said health officials met the plane, but no additional precautions were being taken for the hundreds of passengers. Great. He said the captain read out a statement advising self-isolation and further tests, but it's at the discretion of passengers and it's not legally enforceable. Passengers then got on the airport shuttle to baggage reclaim, mixing with dozens of other flights. No testing was offered. So here we go again. Like I said, it's either that the government is making the same mistake constantly and letting in exciting new variants, or it's deliberate. I don't know which would be worse. Are they really this bad, or are they deliberately doing it to us? Or maybe it's the EU's fault for being mean to us. No! Thanks a lot, Monsieur Macron. God, we're so angry with him, we might even write a tweet. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Just when you thought we were out of it, But then I have been saying for a very long time, not that I know anything about anything.
Correct.
I have been saying for a very long time that if you think that it's going to be a slow, smooth transition out of this, then you are dreaming. Just an opinion, just a thought, based on previous experience. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. I want to talk about alcohol, as in
booze.
Correct. I want to talk about, the Extinction Rebellion people are maybe preventing your presents from arriving. Nothing to be alarmed about. And is your cat a psychopath? The answer is almost certainly yes. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Oh, hello.
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals!
Oliver texts, do you know anybody that is an expert in wind? No, I can't think of anybody at all.
Hello, everyone.
Not one single person. Gary texts, the French police watching... no, I've read that one. I'm way ahead of schedule. Alison says, while sitting in my car at the main traffic light junction on my high street today, I had an epiphany. What? Oh. What, right there in your car?
Disgusting.
Why are they making us new cars to meet their future net carbon output and not changing the traffic light system? Why are they making us buy new cars to meet their future net carbon output and not changing the traffic light system? I've read that twice now. Does that make sense?
No.
Shall I read it? Shall I read it again?
No.
It's stupid, says Alison. We all sit here with our engines running and for most of the time no one is moving. It's interesting, isn't it, that when they take all that, they call it street furniture. It doesn't look like very comfortable furniture to me, but when they take it all out, traffic actually flows more smoothly. I mean, not in every circumstance, but when it was tried in, civilised places like Holland. When they take all of that stuff out and they make the roads the same level as the pavement, and so everybody is in a shared space, like Dutch people do.
Groovy.
Then road traffic is moves more smoothly and everybody is safer. You believe that? We sit here with our engines running and for most of the time no one is moving, says Alison. Well, nobody will be moving outside of Amazon. Extinction Rebellion have made sure of that. Are they still out there? Extinction Rebellion mobs blocked roads leading to more than a dozen Amazon fulfilment centres across the UK as they targeted Black Friday shoppers. You won't be able to get those things that you don't need that you'll pay for with money you haven't got.
Oh, no.
Activists sat in large bamboo towers outside the warehouses, preventing vans and lorries from getting into the US giant's busiest... from getting in on... There really is... There's a problem between my brain and my mouth. I must identify what has gone wrong. Activists sat in large bamboo towers outside the warehouses, preventing vans and lorries from getting in on the US giant's busiest day of the year. Protests started at 4 a.m. with about... Blimey, you've got to be pretty keen to be somewhere at 4 a.m. I mean, that means getting up at midnight. That means no sleep. These people are committed. Yeah, they should be. I'll just make that comment for you, so so you don't have to ring in with it. In Dartford, one of the 13 sites targeted, protesters held up a sign saying Black Friday exploits people and planet. Missing out a never mind. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. In Peterborough, there was a slogan, Infinite growth harms planet. Again, missing the. In Manchester, Extinction Rebellion strew items along Sunbank Lane near Manchester Airport in order to stop traffic. Other sites that were blocked, including but were not limited to Doncaster, Darlington, Newcastle, Derby, Coventry, Rugeley, rubbish, no such place, Bristol, Tilbury and Milton Keynes. And videos have emerged of officers ungluing protesters stuck to the road. Yeah, I just don't see the attraction of all that gluing yourself to anything, let alone something as difficult to pick up and take with you as a road. I mean, how much glue would you need to secure yourself to a bypass? XR's spokesmodel in the Dunfermline blockade, Meg, said, "We started here at about 4 a.m. but are not blocking the employees' car park so the night shift can leave. We have good vibes and music," she said.
Yowza.
An XR spokesperson said the action is intended to draw attention to Amazon's exploitative and environmentally destructive business practices, disregard for workers' rights in the name of company profits, as well as the wastefulness of Black Friday. And a spokesperson for Amazon said, "Oh, no, it isn't," or words to that effect. The blockade is part of an international action by XR targeting 15 Amazon fulfillment centres in the UK, the US, Germany and the Netherlands, aimed at highlighting Amazon's activities, or crimes, as it was, as an XR spokesperson said. Protester Eleanor from Glasgow said, "It's essential that we move to a new model of economics that prioritises well-being and sustainability over profit. An era of exploitative, throwaway capitalism will soon be over, either by changing to meet the challenges we now face, or by the destruction of our global habitats and societies. Yeah, either we're going to come to our senses, or the world is going to bring us to our senses." Well, that's an interesting concept. A person whose name I can't pronounce, called anyway, he's a 19-year-old, he or she, sexist, is a 19-year-old student. They said, "We have to recognise that the consumption in the global north is largely based on the exploitation of the working class in the global south. We need a new system that represents people and the planet instead of blindly chasing profit," which is interesting, because that's the exact opposite that we heard this week from David Frost. Lord Frost, you know, that chap whose job it is to seemingly blame the French for everything that his government screws up. Frosty the Dough Man gave a speech which somewhat went under the radar because it was made at the same time that Bodger melted.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World is it has
yes,
Peppa
yes,
Pig.
Yes. Bodger Johnson was melting into a puddle of goo while spewing on about Peppa Pig, for crying out loud. And Frosty the Dough Man's speech went unreported because everybody was, like mouth open in shock. Forgive you? No. Frosty said, "If we follow the European social model, if we follow the European social model of myriad employment regulations, hefty taxes and stratospheric welfare spending, we will, like most of the EU, enjoy only modest economic growth and squander the opportunities of Brexit." Which is very revealing. Almost like he said it out loud by accident. You know, there's a list called the Happiness Index. It rates all the countries in the world on various measurements to get the happiest places to live. I mention it a lot. Because what is life for if it's not to extrude? Is that the right word? To extrude the most amount of happiness and squirt it all over ourselves. The Happiness Index, and by no coincidence, the happiest people are always from those countries that do exactly what he said we shouldn't do. Tax their citizens more, protect them with employment legislation, and spend highly on welfare for the benefit of all. The social democratic Scandi countries always top the list of happiness among their citizens. And we're supposed to think that's a bad thing. And what we should strive for instead is the American winner-takes-all model. And that's fine if you have already won. I mean, just think who would benefit from reducing workers' rights? Who would benefit from cutting the welfare payments to those that need it most? Who would benefit from lower taxation? And it's the richest in every case, including the last one, the taxation one. I mean, we get given this story about how it would benefit us all. Oh, lower taxes, and, then we'll be happy. Well, if you're on 20 grand a year and the tax rate is cut by 10%, you'll make an extra £148 a year. If you're on £1 million a year and the tax rate's cut by 10%, you'll make £43,500 more a year. Tax cuts are for the rich. They benefit the rest of us almost not at all. And yet we're persuaded that that's where we should be going. So the rebellion people with their faces stuck to the tarmac are right. And that Garfield the Cat impersonator, our Brexit negotiator and full-time unelected bureaucrat, is wrong. Unless you buy into that myth about making it if you try hard. You know, some people win the lottery. We just heard about one of them on the news. A French person. A French person's got my money. Do you have to buy a ticket to actually win? I suppose you do. That's where I've been going wrong. They should have explained that. Some people win the lottery and get out of their poor background and achieve a great success. But the game is rigged against us. I mean, just look at how many old Etonians are in the cabinet and are in plum acting jobs, are running companies and are in the top 1%. It's not because of their genius and acumen. It's because they started the race at the finishing line while we were all huffing and puffing doing laps. I mean, I know we're conditioned to berate the protesters, but what kind of country would be a better one to live in? One in which we were taken care of, have a safety net, and are less obsessed with consumerism, or one in which the overriding force is to maximise profits at any cost? And if you chose the profits route, just think who that's benefited from as following that policy since the 1960s. The CEOs, chief executive officers of corporations, used to earn in the 1960s about 40 times the average wage of the people in those companies. Today, after all that growth in the intervening period, the workers' wages have pretty much flatlined in real terms, but the bosses earn now 400 times the average wage of the people in their companies. Economic growth is not for the little people, not leprechauns. Little people make the growth happen. It's just that they don't see any of the spoils. It's like the whole human race has been hypnotised by the prospect of owning shiny things. All shiny things now 25% off. Limited offer. Hurry while stocks last. What a way to run a planet, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we're doing a radio show, 0345 6060 973. Chris texts, I've just led an owl walk on Quantock Hill in Somerset. Crazy weather. We had lightning, heavy sleet, 3 degrees temperature, but the owls were amazing.
Groovy.
An owl walk. Do owls like walking? You could put a lead on one, just drag it around if it doesn't want to cooperate. All owls should be on a lead. It's a fact. Simon says, what stops a passenger getting a flight from South Africa to, say, Holland and then a connection onto London, carrying the new variant? Well, nothing here. Nothing here at all. We just wave them on through. Please, go ahead and mingle, if you like. I mean, it's not like we don't know where they've come from. They would have had to show their papers. Let's have a call in Woodside. Hello, David.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, thanks.
It was what you said about the 10% tax cut and what the difference is or what little it makes, which is very true. But my point is about the Class 1 national insurance that we pay in this country. If you earn 30 grand a year, which is the average apparently, you end up paying about £2,500 national insurance for the year. If I earn 10 times that, i.e. £300,000 a year, I only pay £9,000 national insurance. And if I earn 100 times that, i.e. £3 million a year, I only pay 60-something thousand pound national insurance.
Wow,
So I think
it's almost as though the system is rigged against those who have nothing.
it is. As soon as I think it's over 100,000, I believe, you pay. So when we get this new 1.25% increase next year, you pay that up to about 100,000, then it plummets to 2.5%. So most people are paying 11-12% national insurance. Once you start earning some decent money, i.e. six figures, we'll give you 10% back. We're going to take a bit more from tax from you, but that's everyone. The tax is the same. It's equal. It's honest. It's fair in a way. Do you know what I mean? But this is probably one of the biggest urine takes that the government does. And they talk about social care and NHS funding and all that. They sort out what people pay at the very beginning.
Right. Well, I can't disagree with much of anything you just said. It is, the system is rigged against the people that vote for the system to continue rigging things against the people. I mean, every now and again I'll post on Twitter the demographics of who voted for which party in the last general election. And it is almost completely the opposite of what you would expect. You'd think that well-off people would vote Conservative, but they don't. You'd think that poor people would vote for the Labour Party, but they don't. Poor people vote for the Conservative Party overwhelmingly, much more so than do well-off people. Isn't that weird? You would think it would be the other way around, because, I mean, we can see with our own eyeballs which kind of person benefits from a Conservative administration. And yet the people that keep getting it in the neck over and over and over again, who are suffering from a decade or more of austerity, the people that have suffered the most are the people who are most keen to to have the party that's doing it to them continue doing it to them. Thank you, sir. May I have another? There is a masochistic streak that runs through this country. All right, thanks a lot, David. 0345 6060 973. Chris texts, Brexiter noun. Oh, this is definition. Brexiter, noun. A person who bricks up their windows to stop others seeing in, who now complains that they are unable to see out. Chris is just like, picking fights already. Why can't people just get along? Tony says, the day you ever take Britain's side on any single issue, I will eat my hat, says Tony. Tony, you are mistaking unquestioning adherence to the dear leader as patriotism. It isn't. I want what's best for my country, Tony. You, I suspect, just want what you have been convinced is best for you personally. If we do things wrong, and we appear to make, certain individuals seem to make a career of doing things wrong.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Then pretending that it's right is not an act of patriotism. Kate emails, was that the sound of our PM playing with Peppa Pig in his homemade buses out of wine crates? Yeah, he said that once, didn't he? No evidence has been produced to back up that claim that his hobby was making buses out of old wine crates.
Booze.
I mean, I would be prepared to believe that he has a lot of empty wine crates about the place, but not that he makes buses out of them. I mean, come off it. Julia tweets, a French person has just won Euro Millions. No! That's got to make you smile. La France, 101 million. UK, 0 point. No, it doesn't make me smile, Julia. That French person's got my money. Sheila says, after hearing the news about the ultra-rich lottery winner in France, I suspect BJ will be tweeting and saying that he loves France. Well, I bet the whoever is figuring out the Conservative Party donor list will be tweeting to them personally. Roger texts, Nick, so that's another £137 million slipped through your fingers. A French person won the jackpot. People are obsessed with this now. If it was somebody from Stockport, you wouldn't be complaining, would you? It's because it was a French person. Neil tweets, new strain of coronavirus has been named Omicron. Is this the new member of the Transformers' arch enemies, the Decepticons? I thought the Transformers. I see. My mind went to the Mysterons. This is the voice of the Mysterons. Remember that? You remember when Big Ben chimed 13? How tremendously exciting was that? Anyway, there's more to this tweet. The new strain of the coronavirus has been named Omicron. Is this a new member of the Transformers' arch enemies, the Decepticons? I tried to watch one of those Transformers films and I just couldn't do it. It was just like a visual and oral cacophony. It all was happening too fast as well. I couldn't really figure out what was doing what to whom. And when they changed, are you supposed to be able to see it? Because it's just too quick. Oh, why don't you try and keep up, Grandad? When you watch songs of praise or something, it's more your speed. Kids, eh? What a disappointment. Anyway, he says, if so, where's Optimus Prime when we need him? I've got no idea what that means. Optimus Prime. Is that one of Amazon's offerings? Sanj texts, I see in his letter to Macron, Bozo was telling him that we'll send over a border force police to control France's border. We can't even look after ours, and after Brexit we have Farage patrolling ours, and what a great job he's doing with all this going on with all this going on. All Labour can do is go on about bringing a baby to work. Bringing a baby to work. Yeah, we got one on the front pages of the Conservative Party. It scares me that this lot could stay in power for a long time, says Sanj. Well, be afraid. Be very afraid. Bringing a baby to work, Bodge.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World is...
Yes, yes.
It has...
yes.
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig. The clue's in the name. Peppa Pig World. I mean, you try and explain it to somebody that's unfamiliar with what's happening here. Just try, I double dare you. Oh my God, look at all these emails and texts and stuff. Does anybody have a phone that works? No, see, this is the problem with modern communications. Nobody uses the phone for speaking anymore. Does anybody use the phone to actually speak anymore?
No.
No. When you get an actual voice call, people freak out. This has happened to me. You remember, dim, distant past. God, it seems like so long ago. You remember when we were all sent indoors as though we'd all been bad? We were being punished. We got sent indoors. So we couldn't actually see any of our friends. Against the law. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'll just call one of them up. I'll call a couple of them up and see what happens. Instead of, waggling my fingers at my phone all day long and just taking 3 hours to send a message that you could get done in about 10 seconds if you were just using your mouth. And I called one of them up, and he answered the phone. He said, "What are you calling me for?" As though I was being intrusive. You don't have to pick the phone up. It's not a video call. You don't have to get dressed for it. It was just a phone call. And I thought that was a bit weird. And then I called up another friend. I got the exact same response. What are you calling me for? You've forgotten how to text. Nobody uses their phone anymore, which is why I've got about 1,000 tweets and texts and emails, and I've been in want of actual real-life phone calls. Never mind, you know me. I never complain. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 11:30. The news headlines with Zora Solomon.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
I am not one of your fans!
That was a pretty charming story about that puppy, eh? What a charming, wonderful and heartwarming news story. Excellent work, Zora Solomon. In case you missed it, a puppy with 50,000 followers on social media. My God, that dog's more popular than I am. What's that dog got that I ain't? It was called Queenie, and it was nicked, apparently. Dog napping, which is against the law. Of course, the government has just brought in a law that prevents you from dog napping. It's now against the law. It was also previously against the law, but they are, their modus operandi is to bring in new laws to replace existing laws that they don't use. And then they don't use those new laws. But at least people think that they're doing something about it. They're just not doing something about it. They're just announcing new laws all the time. Anyway, the dog was found, Queenie, an American bulldog. And it was so happy that it licked the officers and gave it one of their treats. And so did the owner, as a matter of fact. The case is up on Monday. Paul says when a parent looks like they are enjoying a children's theme park more than their children, there must be issues that need to be addressed. Issues? Yeah, I think you got issues, Bodge.
I can't comment on that.
It's a yes. Emma tweets, what a guy on LBC, saving the world with his shampoo bar. That's from some while ago. Hemel Hempstead, hello, Charles.
Hello, mate. Yeah, I just want to say that I used to vote Labour. My grandparents did. My parents did. But I can't bring myself to do it anymore, Nick.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Why? Lost your pencil?
No, I'll tell you why. Housing. I spent 16 years on the housing list. Yeah, 16 years to get a house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't because there wasn't enough housing. It's because the policy is made for greatest in need. Now, because I was in a two-bedroom flat with a boy and a girl, yeah, okay, I was considered to be low points. You were me?
Yeah, so you already had somewhere to live, right?
Yeah.
So you were below the people that didn't have anywhere to live.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. But if you were homeless, like a migrant, and you come into this country, you haven't paid for the house, you got it.
We're just all right. So we're just giving out houses to people who. Yeah, okay, right.
No,
that's your problem. It's the people below you on the ladder that are the problem. They're dragging you down, Charles. Of course, it's not the people above you on the ladder that are pushing you down. The reason that you couldn't get a house is that because in many years since the Second World War, we built zero social housing, none at all. Precious few houses, period. Germany, on the other hand, has managed to build 250,000 a year since the Second World War. So that's on us, Charles. But, if it makes you feel better, blaming people who have come from desperate straits and, made it here against all the odds, who are, desperate to make a new life for themselves, but you can't get a bigger house for yourself, then, okay, so be it. Thanks a lot, Charles. Pretty sure I've heard that call before. Still whining. Keith says, could you explain why in naming this new COVID variant, Omicron, we have jumped from 4th to the 15th letter of the Greek alphabet? It doesn't make no sense to me, because there's a load of letters we ain't used yet. Are they thinking that this is all over and we only need one more letter? In which case, I think they are in for a big surprise. Huge. So we had Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, and then we ran out. Didn't we? It wasn't Delta the last one. And then there's Epsilon, and then Zeta. Now, you think that Zeta would be Z at the end of the alphabet, but the Greeks put it at the 6th letter. It's almost as though they don't speak English. And then Eta, Theta, Iota, Kappa, Lambda, Mu, and then Nu. I mean, at least if they called it the new variant, NU, then there would be, we'd have an amusing time discussing it. It'd be the only funny thing about it. Are you talking about the new variant or the new variant? And then there's Z and then Omicron. So we skipped out just loads. Why not Eta or Theta or Iota or Kappa? What's wrong with Kappa? And now there's Upsilon, not Epsilon. That's going to be confusing. If they go backwards and give us an Epsilon, there's also coming up, there's an Upsilon and Psi and Phi. All sorts. Oh, boy, it's going to be so funny. As long as those variants keep on coming, we're going to be rolling around the floor laughing. Richard texts, if Boris goes, you'll be out of a job. Okay. What, you mean there'll be no news to talk about? I very much doubt it. I mean, you'd think that with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump goes, then what are we going to talk about? Well, there's always something. The world doesn't stop for a moment. Sam says, have you seen Tony Blair had advised Starmer to wage war on socialists? Yeah, that's the fight to pick right now. Well, it's like I said, when the right wing get a scent of power, they put all their differences aside and they get in line and are absolutely determined to get and then cling on to power. It's their number one objective. Everything else is subordinate. The left, meanwhile, pick fights with themselves, trip over their own faces, and then fall in a pile. And the right wing just step nimbly over them into power again. And they'll do it again. I bet you that the next president of the United States of America looks very orangely familiar.
Oh, shut up!
I bet. Because the left in America, they're going to be, as they have done with Uncle Joe's various infrastructure bills. He's got one infrastructure bill for roads and bridges, which they just about got through. But then the other one is to help people. People, actual people. Give them dental cover and all of these things that we take for granted in this and pretty much every other country on earth. They wanted to give them, a better life. and the left wing are busy fighting each other about how much of a better life they're going to get. The right wing say, no, that's socialism. And everybody gets on the same page, and we don't want socialism. No! And the left are left in their wake, just beating each other up about how kind we're going to be. Well, you've got to have power before you do that. And they seem, the left wing do seem to be hampered in that regard. I mean, since World War II, I think the Tories have been in power for, 2/3 of the time? And almost always a minority government. A minority of the people that voted for them actually get their way. So under 50% of the population get what they want, or what they have been persuaded that they want. And the majority, as usual, get nothing. Shirley texts, soap bars sound like a horror story. Do they? Soap bars sound like a horror story. Am I missing something there? I don't think so. Doesn't sound like a horror story to me. Craig says, I have the answer to stop these illegal types coming to Britain. They come mainly because we are an English-speaking country. Let's stop speaking English. If we spoke French instead, they'd line up on our beaches to leave our shores. Simples, says Craig. Yeah, especially the way that we speak French. Je veux beer, mate. Sounds terrible coming out from our mouths. Of course, French from French people's mouths just sounds mellifluous. It's just all with the lips. All like that. It's like they're kissing us.
Disgusting.
But when we speak, it's all like the back of the throat, like that. We just can't do French or any other language, as a matter of fact. Ricky tweets, "Hey, Ricky, you're so fine, you blow my mind, Ricky." He says, "Did you hear about the Tory MP who was blaming an increase in crime by young lads on the fact that the BBC cast a woman to play Doctor Who?" Yeah, I did hear that. He says, what a way to run a country.
Dreadful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, stunning. I mean, really quite amazing. If these are the best people that we can find, and we have to continue to let them earn money from outside jobs in order to retain these best people, I say we just take a chance on what the second best people are like. Who's with me? Hands in the air. 0345 6060 973, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Okie dokie.
Michael texts, I know how to use my TV. I can even skip the ads, boasts Michael. I can't remember the last time I saw an advert on TV. At anything less than 30 times normal speed. They zip by. Why would anybody watch the ads on television when you can record it and just speed through it? I mean, nobody watches anything live, do they? Apart from the news and maybe, just maybe, a football match every now and again. And I am sort of vaguely aware that they're all getting out their big guns, you know, all the Christmas adverts, because it's Jesus' birthday coming up, and that's what Jesus would want, us to buy a lot of stuff we don't need with money we haven't got. But, you know, they're wasting their money as far as I'm concerned, because I only ever see it at top speed. Dan texts, is the Tory party like COVID? Every time they are voted back in, it's a new variant with hideous mutations. Mutations. Yeah, that does sound like there is a mutation going around. Kate says it's going to be cold tonight, so I made my cat 2 microwave hotties to put under his blanket. He also has a heat-reflecting mat to sleep on, 2 cushions at each end to keep any draft at bay. He's an indoor cat, so he hasn't grown a winter coat. It's soft and silky all year round. Does everyone do this for their cat in winter, or is it just me? Says Kate. Kate, I think I can say without fear of contradiction, it's just you. What's a microwave hottie, by the way? Is it like a toasty? Because it will warm you up and it'll give you something to eat if you wake up in the middle of the night. Snacking. Don't let me forget to do that thing about psychopathic cats. Is your cat a psychopath? New test. Tom tweets, it's a good job that wasn't David Cameron that went to Peppa Pig World. It's a good job it wasn't David Cameron that went to Peppa Pig World.
I think this is nonsense.
Yeah. Still not missing you, Dave. But we know where to find you if we do. You'll be in the shed where they keep the tools. Tim emails, there's a mug for sale on eBay with your face on it. No certificate of authenticity, though. This is in reference to last week, where apparently somebody put a picture of me on the internet with a genuine certificate of authenticity. I mean, colour me amazed. Maybe I'm amazed. Get Paul McCartney on the phone, he'll sing it to us.
Rock and roll!
Christian tweets, last week you said being an MP was a full-time job. Did you lie to us? I guess I did, yeah, because I worked it out and mentioned it some while ago. 18 weeks holiday a year. What? Can you believe it? It's about 18 weeks holiday a year. Who gets 18 weeks holiday a year? Now, you think with all that time off, they would actually be able to put in a shift for us, you know, when they're not working, he said, waggling his fingers in the air to denote inverted commas. When they're not working for us. But apparently even that's too much. We appreciate any little thing you can do for us.
Thank you.
Jake tweets, hey Nick, have you looked at the calendar lately? It's terrifying. Our days are numbered. Okay. All right, that was not bad. I'll let you get away with that one. It's like this show's turned into a Christmas cracker. It's a cracker. Our days are numbered.
Oh, fabulous.
Ian texts, good job MPs of all those other jobs to make up their wages, or they'd be skint, eh? Yeah, it's some kind of interesting and educational that people are saying that politicians cannot possibly survive on only 80-odd grand a year and £250,000 a year on expenses. And yet we must do something about the enormous riches that are poured all over people who manage to get over here on an inflatable dinghy, because they get £5 whole a day and put up in some damp garret. Edward says, is your tooth all right? Well, I don't know, to be honest. I'm a bit wary of going back to the dentist, you know, because he's a dentist. And also, it's not... I had root canal treatment. Oh, no. Which I thought was going to be the most painful thing that I had ever experienced. Turns out, not really. I mean, they gave me like 2 or 3 massive injections, well, like a 3-foot needle, stuck it into my face. I thought it was going to come out the back of my head. It was so big. And then he dug down, didn't feel a thing. And he put it all back together again. He said, that's going to be absolutely fine, perfect, and I'll only charge you £1,500. I'm not making that up. I could buy my car 10 times over for the amount it cost me to keep one tooth in my head. You believe that? Of course, if I'd had it on the NHS, I wouldn't have had it on the NHS. I'd have been on a list to get put on a waiting list. I would have been sore from now until the end of time. But yeah, they filled it in, and I don't know. It's not perfect. It's not. I can't not feel it. Does that make sense? But I don't want to go back to him because what's he going to do? Oh well, okay, we'll pull it out. That'll be another £500, please. So I'm just going to suffer. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Steve says, will you be doing the A to Z this Christmas? If you do it in he says, if you do it in alphabetical order, you get extra points.
And it was 30 or 35 questions. The first questions are very easy. The last questions are much more difficult. Like a memory question, it's like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. So they say, could you repeat that? So I said, yeah. So it's woman, camera, TV. Okay, that's very good. If you get it in order, you get extra points. Okay, now he's asking you other questions. And then 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go, woman, man, person, man, camera, TV. If you get it in order, you get extra points. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy. And that's not an easy question. In other words, they ask it to you, they give you 5 names and you have to repeat them, and that's okay. If you repeat them out of order, it's okay, but you know, it's not as good. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question, they don't tell you this. Go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you go, camera, man, person, woman, TV. They say, that's amazing. How did you do that? I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
Cognitively there.
Oh, shut up!
Seriously, Donny, you are a card. How did he get to become the President of the United States of America?
I love the poorly educated.
Oh, yeah, that's right. His ding-a-ling fans. What do you think, Kanye?
Whoop-dee-dee scoop poop.
Precisely. Your husband's an idiot, Melania.
I don't care.
She's not that bothered. Roy tweets, do you think that Bodger kept saying to Carrie on the way to Peppa Pig World, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Yeah. Carrie says, I'll slap your legs if you don't keep quiet. Jacob's nanny emails, stop being unfair to poor Precious. Poor Precious.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
Mark tweets, French geezer winning the Euro Millions. Where will it end? Well, if that isn't reason enough to declare war, I don't know what is. Stealing our money. David says, I have calculated that if you start the 2021 A to Z on Christmas Eve and do 1 letter per hour, we will be on the letter P at 10 p.m. on Wednesday the 29th of December. So at 10:05 on the 29th, I'll be texting him with my suggestion for the letter P, which will be Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has
yes.
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig is the right answer.
Affirmative.
Very good, Donny. Very good. Sean emails, don't forget to do the cat thing. Oh, yeah, the cat thing. Is your cat a psychopath? And the answer is almost certainly yes. Apparently there's a test You've got to make your cat take a test. The difficult part is making it sit still long enough. Paul emails, Omicron just so happens to be an anagram of moronic. Wait a minute. More on ick. It is! Omicron is an anagram of moronic. Yeah. This show really is an education, isn't it?
No.
Every now and again, I think a fact accidentally slips out. Here's the sound of a fact slipping out. If ever you hear that, cover your ears and hum loudly to yourself. You don't want to be infected by facts. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nica@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
What we got here is a failure to communicate.
Yeah, a failure to do it at the right time. You could have driven a bus through that gap. Never mind. Dave texts, could do with some global warming here in Glasgow. My kilt keeps blowing up. Well, I know that's not true, Dave, because no one in Glasgow wears a kilt. 0 people. Lawrence texts, Steve Allen says you're fibbing about having pizza for your Christmas dinner. What Steve Allen knows about my dinner, you could write in the back of a stamp. I am definitely going to have a pizza for my Christmas dinner. The only problem, every year when it comes around, Jesus gets a birthday every year, and the only problem with that for me is knowing what to do with a pizza. Because how do you make a pizza extra special? Years go by and I think I'll slice up I'll push the boat out, literally and figuratively, and get a lobster, and I'll stick that on it. I'll take it out of its little house first, and then chop it into little bits and put it on a pizza. But I don't know, would that work? Because you can't really put very much on a pizza, because otherwise it just becomes a big, gloopy, soggy mess. It needs to be crisp. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll just have an ordinary pizza, but that just seems a bit boring and disrespectful to Jesus. But mind your own business, Steve Allen. Just make sure you bring some snacks in. Blooming starving in here. Dave texts, 18 weeks holiday, you're pulling my leg. No, I worked it out. I did mental arithmetic. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah, mental arithmetic, and I worked out that our MPs, our elected representatives, who are working hard on our behalf, actually take 18 weeks holiday a year. And when they're at work, they're not really at work. What a racket, eh? And they're still complaining.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Jim texts, please ask Mr. Zahawi how long till Jesus' birthday. Yeah, how many weeks is it, Zaphod?
And 1.
Yes.
2.
4.
11.
11 weeks till Jesus' birthday. 11 weeks. Emma says there's a reason these variants aren't being named in a recognisable alphabetical order. It's because the 24-letter Greek alphabet doesn't follow A to Z. So omega, not O, but its own letter altogether in Greek, is at the end of that alphabet, for example, and you won't be seeing the 26th variant being named Zulu. Yeah, but I'm doing it, I'm not that I know anything about it, but I'm just looking at something that you can buy that's the Greek alphabet. It's like a wall poster. And it goes alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, z, Omicron. So Omicron's way down the list. So what's that about? And then pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, not epsilon, phi, chi, psi, and omega. Omega's at the end. That's just bizarre. Ancient Greek people, eh? Vince texts, hang on, Is it a new variant, NU, or an Omicron variant? Yeah, I thought it was going to be the new variant. So they changed their minds pretty quick, Sticks. Some expert just alerted them to the fact that people are going to be calling it a new variant, and then when a new variant comes along, they're going to be confused about whether they're talking about the new variant or the new variant. Vince says, I don't want to have wasted my time learning the Greek alphabet for nothing, and I missed all of the others post-Delta. Have I? And I missed all of the others post-Delta, starting with Epsilon, and then he's got 2 question marks, even though it's not a question, it's a statement. Never mind about learning the Greek alphabet, Vince. you want to learn the English one. This anonymous text says, what's ET short for? It's another blooming joke.
Oh, no.
We'll never know what ET is short for. Unless you know already. In which case, keep it to yourself. Morgan says the only way to save migrants from risking the Channel crossing is to allow them to reach their desired destination, the UK. Give them free passage on the ferries to the UK. They speak English and they want to work to protect their families. Well, that makes more sense than any tweet I've read so far this evening. You know, when they do get here by illegal methods, because we have done our best, or the regime has done its best to please its fans by making it almost impossible to get here by legal means. So they have to come here by illegal means. And when they get here, over 2/3 of them are they pass the test for being refugees. So they weren't illegals; they were legals. And they're going to have a big conflab, a big meeting about this over in the EU. And Priti Patel has been disinvited after Bodger called on France to take back people who crossed the Channel to the UK. Again, why should they? Why should they? Why should we just skip our responsibilities and everybody else have to take theirs? Why should we get away with it? The French government withdrew an invitation to the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, to attend a meeting about the Channel boat crisis. They said non. Actually, they said non merci. I mean, good manners don't cost nothing, do they?
Be polite!
It follows Bodger's letter to President Emmanuel Macron, setting out 5 steps to avoid a repeat of Wednesday's tragedy. The letter sent out publicly as a tweet in time for the front pages of the UK newspapers. And I think Bodger's plan was France should get their finger out and stop us from having to take any of these blooming foreigners. I think that's it in a nutshell, isn't it? And if that was a plan to rile the French and make absolutely certain that Bodger's regime can keep the fire of enmity going to disguise the effects of Brexit and permanently give us someone to blame for everything that goes wrong here, then that tweeted letter was it. I mean, it wasn't even a letter to the French president. Who sends a letter to someone on Twitter for it to be printed on the front pages of government-friendly newspapers? Someone who is deliberately trying to stoke up a fight. I mean, if it was a genuine attempt at solving a problem, then it is worryingly inept. It's almost as though we are being run by people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Gérald Darmanin, the French Minister of the Interior, told Priti Patel the letter from Bodger to Macron suggesting France take back people who cross the Channel was a disappointment. He's not angry, he's just disappointed. Referring to Bodger's posting of the letter on social media, he said, making it public made it even worse. I therefore need to cancel our meeting in Calais on Sunday. Everyone's just playing games with this. But you know what? The French do their bit. They take refugees. We are doing our utmost to abrogate our responsibilities in that regard. Like we're not part of the world anymore. And it's just to get their fans doing a little happy clappy dance. Performative cruelty for votes. I don't know how they live with themselves. I honestly don't. Referring to Johnson's posting of the letter on Sunday, he said, making it public made it even worse. I therefore cancel our meeting in Calais on Sunday, he said to Priti Patel. During a visit to Italy, Macron said he was surprised by these methods which are not serious. He said one does not communicate from one leader to another on questions such as these by tweet. Exactly. I mean, what sort of idiot conducts highly important government business by tweet?
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Oh, yeah. It seems like everything the government does can be summed up by the phrase, what would Donald Trump do? They're still following his guide to running a country. What would Donald Trump do? He'd put people in charge of departments based on whether they are utterly unsuited to that task. It seems the only qualification to be put into a position of authority in this government is that you are utterly unsuited to that position. The French government's official spokesmodel, Gabriel Attal, added to criticism of Bodge's letter on French television, calling it mediocre in terms of the content and wholly inappropriate as regards the form. Wow, that could be on Bodge's business card. Mediocre in terms of the content and wholly inappropriate as regards the form. You could get a T-shirt made. Give the contract to whoever donates the most to the regime. What do you think about that, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
It's a yes from him. Send him a message on WhatsApp. The French government's official spokesperson, Gabriel Attal, said the letter was mediocre because it does not respect all the work that has been done by our coast guards, police, gendarmes and lifeboat crews. It basically proposes a relocation agreement, which is clearly what is not needed to solve this problem. She says, we're sick and tired of this double talk and outsourcing of problems. It's outsourcing of blame, really, isn't it? But outsourcing of blame is what we are free to do now that we aren't in the European Union anymore. Blame seems to be our biggest export now. Bodge. France was planning to host ministers from all states with Channel coasts, including Prissy Patel, for a meeting on the refugee crisis in Calais on Sunday. A source close to Darmanin told Agence France Presse and the French media that the meeting would be going ahead with the ministers from other European countries, but said that Patel was no longer invited after Johnson's unacceptable letter. They'll just have to get on without Priti Patel's expertise and compassion. Grant Shapps, who is the actual Transport Secretary, if you can believe that.
No.
He dismissed suggestions that Bodge's plan was sent to generate headlines and insisted it was made in good faith. Oh, please. But as Grant Shapps is the chap who actually went on TV and said that refugees are by law supposed to stay in the first safe country they get to, which is 100% wrong, I think we should go ahead and consider dismissing everything else he has to say on any subject. Truly, this is the government of no talents. It's almost as though ministers have been selected for their inability to do the job. Either that or we're part of a massive national joke and the punchline is just around the corner. Of course, just because Prissy Patel doesn't get an invite doesn't mean that she can't be performatively cruel and go ahead with that pushing them back out to sea routine. Small problem there, though, because the people who would be tasked with doing that don't want to do it. Of course they blooming well don't. They're not psychopaths like cats. The head of a UK trade union that represents thousands of border force staff has warned that members could be balloted to strike if they are asked to push back boats of people. Prissy Patel claimed in Parliament on Thursday that Border Force was ready and prepared to turn around boats that have come from France and send them back. Yeah, a small point of order. Oh no, they're not. Mark Sawatka, the PCS General Secretary, said it's shocking that the government is suggesting Border Force staff turn boats back which will clearly be against international law and morally reprehensible. Yeah, you can say that again. They said, we are reviewing our options, including taking out a judicial review against Prissy Patel's plans and a possible industrial response. So you're going to have to captain the boats yourself, Prissy. If she wants to push some of the most desperate people on Earth back out to sea, she'll have to get her cagoule on. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
This is absolute tosh.
Thanks, Nige. What do I owe you? 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call from France. No! Strasbourg, to be specific. Hello, Jay.
Evening, Nick. You all right?
Yes, good, thanks.
Well, long-time listener and a first-time caller.
Welcome along. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. I'm just walking home from work, and I put the phone on, and I was listening to you. You said, and you were still talking about pizzas.
Pizza.
And I can't believe nobody's mentioned the old tarte flambé, the flammkuche.
The what now?
You've not tried one of those? It's
a tarte flambé. That sounds like pudding.
Yeah.
A pudding, is it?
No, yeah, it sounds like a pudding, but it's like it's an Alsatian pizza.
An Alsatian. Now, I've had a quiche Lorraine. Now, Lorraine is next to Alsace, and a quiche Lorraine in this country is nothing at all. A quiche Lorraine in Lorraine is an absolute sensation.
Yeah, you're right. It's I didn't know till I moved to France. A tarte flambé, or as the Germans call it, a flammkuche. It's like a really thin-based pizza.
Yeah.
And instead of a tomato sauce, you've got like a creme fraiche.
Oh, that doesn't sound very nice.
No,
and then
trust me.
And then you set it on fire. How'd you do that?
They do a dessert version with like apples.
Yeah.
On top, and you put like
brandy.
Calvados,
right. Or eau de vie, something like that. Set it on fire, which sounds like a really bad idea because it burns off all the alcohol.
Booze.
What do you want to do that for?
Ooh, yeah. Burns off the best bit.
Exactly.
I think you would love it.
But you're not describing pizza. You are describing pudding. I mean, they don't put meat on a pizza and then set fire to it, do they?
I'm sorry to correct you, Nick, but they do. They put
right.
They call it lardons. It's like
lardons.
Bits of
bacon,
yeah.
Bacon fat. Yeah.
Yeah, they put bacon, onions,
but bacon doesn't,
and cheese.
But bacon doesn't. It's not flammable, is it?
But listen, Nick, you don't have to set it on fire. You grill it.
Right.
You grill it like a pizza, like you would normally.
Okay, now let me stop you there because you do not grill pizza. You put it in a pizza oven. Bake it.
Okay, I'm fired. Yeah.
Right, you are sacked. Yeah. Yeah. Don't even think about touching my pizza again. All right, thanks a lot, Jay. French people know nothing about pizza.
Correct.
I mean, they may know about flambeing and do an excellent line in quiche, but pizza is beyond them. Michael texts, when was the last time you did a whole show without having a listener with material? I can't remember. You'd think that the bar would be set too high for them to get through. God, listen to that. Can you hear that? The floor is vibrating. I think those kids below have turned the stereo up. Can you nip downstairs and tell Capital to keep it down a bit? Playing the disco dancing. Kids, eh? Call the police. Ian texts, perhaps you could tell there's a difference between a depot and a fulfilment centre. I'm glad you asked, Ian. A fulfillment centre is somewhere that has many more of the things you don't need that you will buy with money that you haven't got. That's the definition of a fulfillment centre as opposed to a depot which has fewer of them. I think you'll find that's right. Can you hear that? What a noise. How can it be that loud? I mean, the floors are about 3 feet thick. I can literally feel the vibrations coming up through my feet. Their ears must be bleeding down there. Turn that racket down, kids. People trying to get some sleep up here. Can you hear that? Is that actually bleeding through the microphone? Can you hear that? What an absolute disgrace. If I wasn't so frightened of them, I'd go down there and give them a piece of my mind. The nightclub downstairs has reopened. Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding. Huh. Right. Okay, so, not us. It's got nothing to do with us. This place was like this when they got here or something like that. I don't know. Well, this is intolerable. Michael texts, when was the last... Oh, no, I read that. Ian, see, these kids downstairs are putting me off my game. Stephen tweets, we've been asking the same question right from the first decision regards to COVID-19. Yes, it is deliberate. It must have been. People can't be that stupid. We've all been set up to fall just like dominoes. Well, I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean the government's ineptitude is not a mistake, it's deliberate? Or do you mean that the entire COVID-19 pandemic was deliberate? Because if you mean the latter, then there's a lot of filmic evidence that would back up that, but only in as regards fiction. I mean, it would be. I do a podcast called the Nick Abbot Habit. And I've been taking, it's like best of. It's just a half-hour best of clips of old shows. And I've been going through the period just when we left the European Union, not last January, but the January before. And at the same time, of course, we were hearing from this invisible menace from China. All sorts of things were going on at the same time because Donito Mussolini was still the president of the United States of America.
A president? Can you believe it?
No, we're still stunned, Donny. And we were hearing about this, this thing coming from China, and we were bunging a bob for Big Ben's bong to celebrate our glorious exit from our evil socialist overlords. No! And we were thinking all sorts of wild and different things, and it's just incredible now to think when you hear those old shows about how blasé and casual we were all being about it. This was something they had in China. It's never going to affect us. Goodness me, no, why would it? Considering the experts that we got in charge.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
But if their intention was to, thin out the population, particularly those that are economically inactive and require the most from a health service, then they couldn't have gone around. They couldn't have gone about it in a better way than what we got at the moment. So it's either staggering ineptitude or it's a plan. Now, I'm not of the I'm not of a conspiracy theoretical bent. Wow, that was torturous. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, would be an easier way to put it.
Affirmative.
But I can understand why people would. I can understand why people would believe that. But I don't. But I can understand why people would. But not me. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 12:30. The news headlines with Zora Solomon.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Shut up.
I can't. I should mention, by the way, I was just talking about the podcast that I do, which is Old Clips, which is it's a bit bizarre. Knowing now what we know now, there's seriously something up with me today. Knowing what we know now, it's a bit bizarre when we were talking about this invisible menace from China before it had actually hit here. If we had only known then what we know now, well, we couldn't have done anything about it, right? It's called the Nick Abbot Habit, by the way. The Nick Abbot Habit. It's a 30-minute podcast, comes out on Mondays. I think you'll love it. Ask for it by name on an internet near you, The Nick Abbot Habit. Or if you just do an internet search on my name, Nick Abbott, and podcasts, then the 3 that I do will become instantly available as though by magic. Greg emails, I had my Amazon package delivered today on time, but there was a protester glued to the box. Can I put him in the recycle bin with the cardboard? No, you put him out with the other hippies, Craig. I'm just kidding about the hippie part. Roland emails, if you manage to get your words in order before the end of this show, will you get extra points? I do believe that those are the rules. You get extra points for getting it in order.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Robert texts, Nick, my heart bleeds for Bezos. Still got Cyber Monday to come. Yeah, that's right. Shop local. In fact, stop shopping. Unless you want to shop for anything that's advertised on this programme, in which case I think you probably look good in at least 2 of them. Buy 2. Why not? Treat yourself. You're worth it. Get out there and shop local. Just do it. Or stop being so, consumerist. Do you actually need any of the stuff that you're going to be buying this Christmas?
No.
Are the people that you're going to be giving it to, are they in want of that stuff?
No.
Of course not. Buying loads of stuff no one needs with money no one's got. The whole world's gone insane. Chris texts, and I'll go back to my assertion for the Extinction Rebellion people who were... I don't know whether they still are. I would imagine they've been driven in by the cold, but it's blooming freezing out there. But once you've glued yourself to the road, there's not much you can do about it. You're stuck there, literally. But their assertion was that we're all buying too much stuff and we're concentrating on the wrong thing, and it doesn't bring you happiness, and it just doesn't. This constant fear of missing out, this feeling that, your life is somehow not complete because you haven't got the latest, whatever it is, clothes, phone, car, shoes, stuff, And we weigh ourselves down with this stuff, and we weigh ourselves down with debt to buy this stuff. And then you're trapped. Then you're trapped paying off the interest on credit cards rather than the principal. And then they've got you. Forever. It's almost impossible to get out from underneath that. It's a trap. You don't need any of that stuff. Stop buying it. Unless they're advertising with us, in which case I think you probably need 2 of each one. Chris says, I wonder if the government will give us Christmas this year, unlike last year, and will they shut the schools after one day in January? COVID is still high in schools. With this shower in charge, I think kids would make better decisions than Boris and this Muppet show. Yeah, I think so. I think you're probably right there, yeah. I mean, at least a child wouldn't get up and start extolling the virtues of Peppa World.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has...
yes? Go on.
Peppa Pig?
Peppa Pig is the right answer. You get a gold star. Yeah, are we going to get Christmas this year? Because they said yes, and and they're saying yes, and I'm hearing
no.
Yeah, all that it will take to ruin Christmas again is for them to leave our borders wide open for a new and exciting variant. Which seems to be exactly what they've done. Oh, well, never mind. Elliot texts, you seem to be inferring that life is a coincidence and the materialistic, emotional, facile, economic and petty life we all take so seriously isn't real life. Well, you, my friend, are a lost soul. Our lives are special and God-given. God is all in capital letters. I think just... It may have a capital letter on the G, but not the O and the D. Never mind. You seem to be inferring that life is a coincidence. Of course it is. Everything is by chance. And the materialistic, emotional, facile, economic and petty life we all take so seriously isn't real life. Well, it depends what you mean by real life. It's life, but is it the most important thing? Because that's the way we arrange our lives, as though it is. As though getting stuff is the most important thing. Because that's what we do all day long. We slave away in order to earn money to spend on stuff that we don't need. And we overspend. So we're spending money that we haven't got. Flashing the plastic. So that's not real life. We've just been persuaded that it is. That it's vitally important that you get a bigger television and a bigger car and a bigger watch and all of these things. It's just nonsense. You're persuaded that the thing that works perfectly well is embarrassing to you personally, such that you must throw it away and buy something else to replace it, to replace the thing that still works. It's mad. The whole world's gone crazy. We don't need any of this stuff. And people just chuck things away. Things aren't fixable anymore. They deliberately make them not to be fixed. Toasters, for instance. You used to be able to fix a toaster. Can you fix a toaster now? Of course not.
No.
No, not remotely. Apart from anything else, they don't screw them shut anymore. They weld them shut. So you physically can't get into it without ruining it. So you have to throw it away onto this mountain of small electronic goods that ends up in, I don't know, Bangladesh or India or China or somewhere like that. And we pretend that it's not ours anymore because we just export it. We just chuck it away over the garden fence and then admire our own pristine backyard. The next door is an absolute catastrophe. And then we suggest that they should clean up their mess. But it's not theirs, it's ours. I think it's called A Life Out of Balance. Koyaanisqatsi. My favourite film. I'm looking forward to seeing that again this Christmas. Koyaanisqatsi. Ask for it by name at a video rental place near you. Are there still video rental places?
No.
No. Of course not, Grandad. Oh, keep up. Everybody's streaming now. Yeah, I don't do streaming. I want the actual physical product. I'm not going to rent something, and then when I stop renting it, I don't get to have it anymore. No thanks. Chris says, I should spell it for you. Koyaanisqatsi. Koyaanisqatsi. My favourite film ever. Looking forward to seeing it again this Christmas. That and Mad Max Thunder Road. Could be the best action movie ever made. That's a heck of a double bill, by the way. I thoroughly recommend that. I mean, it's two sides of cinematic greatness. It couldn't be more unalike. Elliot says, "You see?" Oh no, I've read that. Way ahead of schedule, by the way. I'm very good at this job. Mary says, please, can I ask you, do not insult Garfield the cat by comparing him to any of our politicians. Garfield has wit, intelligence, and makes for enjoyable viewing. Our politicians, on the other hand, do not. Well, it just occurs to me that Frosty the Doughboy is the spitting image of Garfield the cat. Isn't he? Just without the laughs. Let's have Streatham. Joy.
Nick.
Yes, Joy.
Yes, Nick. How are you?
I'm great, mate.
Good morning.
Hello.
Now, you know what? Just before I make my comment, your reference to not being able to fix anything, it reminded me of a reconditioning shop we had just on Brixton Hill, and we had another one around the corner from our house. We could actually, just take things there. They would fix it, and everything was hunky-dory. But now, you can search high and low, and there's none of them.
Yeah, I find that annoying because I've got something I want fixed. I've got a lamp that wants fixed, and because you have to jiggle the bulb about in order to switch it on. I feel like I'm going to kill myself every time I try and turn the lamp on. And it would be nice to get it fixed, but who does that anymore?
It's deliberate, because when you think about it, things are forced upon us, and then we're told, it's what the consumer wanted, but no, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No, it's what we're persuaded that we want. You know, like to vote for certain political parties. We are persuaded to vote against our interests.
No.
Ain't that right, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Being led by the body nincompoop. Who thinks it's God's gift.
A nincompoop?
Delusion, yes, it's the deluded one.
Yeah.
Deluded one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think what I said
nice
to
swerve away from saying poop, by the way. Nincompoop, yeah. Excellent work there.
Thank you. What I said to your producer, oh my God, could you get your producer on?
No.
I've forgotten what I said to him. Oh my God, wait a minute.
You've forgotten what you said to him? Well, never mind about that. What do you want to say to me?
What do I want to say to you? Okay, fine. Oh my God, I can't believe it. All right, I think he'll come back to me. Now, please, could people remind those who voted for Boris Johnson and his party, please remind yourself that you wanted sovereignty. So the attack on the French Prime Minister, even though I can't stand him, the impotent one, and having Priti Patel being banned, please stop it. Just stop it. You wanted sovereignty, you've got it. So why now suddenly there's this pretense attempt to work with France?
Well, we're not pretending to work. We're not pretending to work with France. They're constant. Look, the Brexit will never get done because if they do say that it is done now, then we will start to count how great or otherwise it is, and it will become frighteningly apparent that we were lied to about absolutely everything concerning Brexit, because nothing that they have told us was going to come about has actually happened. The opposite has happened in every single regard. So it benefits the regime to keep the fight going with the French, because they will always have someone to blame for the failure of their own policies.
Yeah, that's true. That reminds me, wasn't Sharp on Nick Ferrari's show this morning? He was asked a question regarding the Delta variant, and his response was he blamed the WHO. And I'm thinking, wait up, no, it had nothing to do with who. It was Boris Johnson wanting to go to India.
He blamed the WHO for the Delta variant.
No, for the lack of action on their part. He turned it around and blamed someone else. And I'm thinking, what? On live radio.
It is amazing, actually, that absolutely nothing that happens is their fault. Everything is always somebody else's fault. It's like we're being run by children.
Oh, shit. They're worse than toddlers with their nappies on. Now I remember Peppa Pig. Boris Johnson and his obsession with Peppa Pig. This is not his first time. He keeps pulling out Peppa Pig when he knows he's not prepared. It's like a
Joy, can I just stop you there? Because my mind went to an awful place when you said he keeps pulling out Peppa Pig.
Oh, disgusting.
And I thought, oh, please, Boris. No, nobody. Even Carrie says she doesn't want to see that. Joy, I'm going to have to go. I think I'm going to have to wash my brain. 034. Once thought, you can't unthink it. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
Declan emails, Bojo has told so many porkies, is it any wonder he ended up talking about Peppa Pig? Coincidence, I'm sure. Robert texts, you should try an owl walk. It's a hoot. Okay then. Malvern. Hello, Judy.
Hello.
Judy.
Ages.
Yes, Judy.
Oh, why did you lie to me? I'm going to do something really unusual. I'm going to disagree with you.
What?
I know. It pains me to say it, but actually there is a toaster that's been made in the UK since, I don't know, sort of just before the war, that is made this exactly the same way, and they guarantee that every single bit, because it's quite a clunky thing, but it's in lots of swishy houses, they will replace. Every single tiny bit is replaceable.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very unusual because there's no small electrical device that's like that. I mean, even like other white goods, big things like washing machines and tumble dryers and stuff like that. When they break, you throw them away and get a new one, which is just...
well, it's appalling.
It is terrible, yeah.
Do you know, I found myself in TK Maxx today. I mean, actually, I was going to Hereford. It's a long story, never mind. But
you were trying to get to Hereford, but you went to TK Maxx.
No, I had to take my MacBook to an IT company somewhere near Hereford, and then I thought I'll pop in. There's a supermarket there, and I had to pop in. And I had to go past TK Maxx. I thought, God, it's awful.
Oh, well, I don't think that's actually accurate.
I'm sorry. No, I mustn't say that because, no, I don't mean they're awful. What I mean is really just the amount of stuff. Actually, in all shops. It doesn't matter which one it was.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right.
Because it was just glut full of, like, everything you could possibly not need for Christmas. Well, and everything you couldn't,
that's just shops in general there, Judy. And I have a problem with the kids who claim to be eco-friendly. I may have mentioned this last week. They claim to be eco-friendly and, all on board with saving the planet. And yet, fast fashion, which I think is, one of the things that you may have been describing there. Fast fashion, although TK Maxx doesn't really do fast fashion, does it? It does. Anyway.
No, it does everything.
Right.
I think it was the amount of just sort of
the stuff,
just stuff. Really, it's stuff.
Fast fashion is about the most polluting industry outside of oil and coal, and yet it is propped up almost exclusively by kids. They want to buy a piece of clothing which makes them feel good. The process of actually buying tickles, like a part of their brain, their reward centre. Not even a week. It's once they've bought it, they don't even wear that stuff anymore. They just take it home and then throw it away because it's so cheap that they can go in and the very next day and buy something else for a little, a brain tickle. And it's so destructive. It's amazing. I mean, just growing cotton is one of the most polluting things that you can do.
No,
I think it is the most polluting crop, isn't it? Cotton.
Pretty much, and the whole processes and the dyeing and and in fairness also, it's inevitably it's young people who are desperately
sew it together.
Paid
Exactly. I mean, you can't buy a packet of T-shirts. 3 T-shirts for $5 and expect that the people who sewed them together are having a decent life. How can you? Of course you can't.
You can't. Well, you see, but my favourite... I loved Leonard Cohen. I still do. I mean, I know he's dead, but
a little bit depressing, though, Leonard Cohen.
No. He can be terrific. I watched his concert in London. It was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. You should have been there. The atmosphere was unbelievable, and yes, it was fun, and he's incredibly funny. But no, I mean his line about there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in, and it's a brilliant statement in so many ways. But actually, if you take it literally, and sometimes I do, I actually sort of see something, and it's like, oh well, that's got a slight sort of mark, or it's got a chip in it, or it's got bit. And does it work? I don't mean everything in my house is chipped. I don't mean that. But, I mean, in other words, is it functional?
Yeah.
Do I care? Will this still serve me if a pan has got a dent in it or this or the other? I think it's actually trying to live with things that don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the point.
Well, I'm with you 100% there, Judy. I like to buy things that are already broken. So as to save time later. Yes, that's right.
What a bargain.
I just go into shops and I hand my money over the counter and tell them to just throw it away for me.
Yes, why not? And don't bother to wrap it up, please. Because
that's
there's
right.
Really no point.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that if we went back to mending things, it might be better for the planet. Also better for us, because we would form, I know this might sound a bit weird, but we'd form a sort of a relationship with the things around us rather than seeing everything as ephemeral and on the verge of being thrown away. You know, it gets a little scratch or a little dent or a small tear or...
Exactly.
And everything gets chucked in.
A slight hole in that, and I couldn't
exactly.
possibly darn it with a different colour. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you know
what? I'm going to look up darning socks on the internet, because almost all of my super warm winter woolen socks, I wear them for about 2 or 3 times, and then my big toe goes through every single one of them. What's that about?
You buy your socks are too small.
My socks are too small. Yeah, that's probably correct. Yeah, or my feet are too big. I think my feet are too big.
No, your feet are perfect. It's obviously the socks.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to look it up on the World Wide Web, because I'm borderline wanting to throw them away and get new ones, but that would be wrong. That's not saving the planet.
You're going to have all this time, now that moronic is actually amongst us. Well, it's not amongst us yet, but it's arrived in bed. Wasn't that marvellous?
Oh, God.
We're
all going to get sent back indoors for the next 6 months. So yeah, I'll be at home darning my socks.
Christmas will be cancelled because apparently, the wise men never left, and they just changed their mind and thought, to hell with it, let's go somewhere for a night out. And Christmas is gone. It's just disappeared. It's been cancelled.
And on that happy note.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, Judy. Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye.
Hey, you know what? Time ticked away, and I didn't do the Psycho Cat story. I'll have to do it tomorrow. Forthcoming attractions. I'll also do the really alarming story. Yeah, never mind about Christmas is cancelled. We might not be able to get any alcohol at Christmas. No alcohol. What? Yeah. So I'll do that tonight when I come back, and I'll also wipe up some of these. Oh my God! Look at the amount of text. There's hundreds of them. Nobody calls anymore. They just text. So, yeah, I'll be back at 10. I'll do all of that and more. Don't you worry about a thing. Ian Payne is on here at 4, but right now it's Clive Ball.
Nick, thank you. Coming up then, the French president, 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 the French president.